Hey everybody, welcome back. It is time for another enthralling edition of Silver and Black Today, a Believe podcast. I am your host, Scott Gilbranson. Thanks for being with us, and do us a favor, if you're listening to us on audio, make sure you subscribe to the show if you haven't already done so. Wherever you get your audio, just look for Silver and Black Today. Don't forget to turn on the auto download. If you're watching us on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, baby. Thumbs up. And don't forget that notifications bell. That way, every time we have a new video, you're the first to know. Thanks for being back. Listen, training camp is officially open. And before we get one snap of football, your Raiders, the Raiders got the headline they needed. Klint Kubiak stepped to the podium Tuesday and said the two words that matter more than any depth chart battle. Now, it's full go. Maxx Crosby, full reps with the ones. Jermod McCoy, the rookie, cleared to practice. First time in football pads in over a year. Today, we're breaking down why that news outweighs everything else that came out of that press conference and what you actually watch for as it gets tested on the field. We'll hear from Klint Kubiak's Tuesday press conference in a moment, but I got to say this, just as an aside. It was great to hear Kubiak, the new energy around the staff, and that was, to me, something I pulled out of this. Klint Kubiak, not exactly a comedian, not exactly a John Gruden-type personality, but you could feel that energy and the seriousness, the plan, all of that came together. Here's the news from the Kubiak, here was the news from Kubiak at the presser on Maxx Crosby.
He's gonna get all the reps tomorrow with the ones. He's ready to go. He's ready to practice. Again, as practice unfolds and we're watching our players, it's always a moving target. But as of right now, tomorrow's a pretty short work day, hour and 30 minutes. So we're expecting him to be ready to take all those reps.
All right, no ease him in language there, folks. No snap count management. That's a real signal of confidence you heard from the staff. Now, what also struck me there about that clip you saw from Klint Kubiak was usually a player like Crosby coming off the injury like that would be to ease him into camp. But you guys know Mad Max better, not Maxx Crosby. Crosby's health is the single biggest lever on this defense's ceiling. It just is. Now, it's a short workday context right now. Camp, as you guys know, they're rolling out these next few days in helmets and shorts. We're not asking him to prove anything. Maxx Crosby doesn't prove anything on a long day. Now, let's compare that tone that you heard there, because I think the differences here matter between Crosby and McCoy. That tone, how Kubiak talked about McCoy. Here's Kubiak again talking about Jermod McCoy.
Yeah, the plan is to get him reps early, see how he responds, in his recovery. It is a moving target with him. He's a guy that's worked extremely hard and has been dedicated to the program that we've put in front of him. But Jermod hasn't played football in a year, and we're aware of that, but he's ready to go practice tomorrow. And we're also going to be really smart with him and develop him the right way.
All right, there it is, Kubiak on Jermod McCoy. Happy, Raider Nation? I'm sure you are. A little more guarded there. Let's contrast, for example, the language directly. Crosby, all the reps. McCoy, moving target. That's not a red flag. It's, to me, look at what Kubiak said. It's smart. It's smart. Deliberate management of a year-long recovery for McCoy. So with McCoy, it's a day-by-day watch-and-see approach. Makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, would you do the same thing? It's smart development. What that likely looks like in practice is rep counts, no contact periods, and load management. Not NBA load management on the NFL field, because you want Jermod McCoy to be ready for the season. And will he be? We'll see. The signs are pointing up, which is a really good thing for this Raiders team who needs that cornerback help. And Jermod McCoy, again, could be the major steal of the 2026 NFL draft, so we'll see. But Kubiak's team first, remove the word I-framing was great. That was the first thing he wanted to tell the team, not the media. So remember, when a coach gets up there for these press conferences, and you guys are watching on YouTube or X or wherever you're watching the Raiders live press conferences when they come on, yeah, that's to give the media what they need to answer their questions, all of that stuff. But it's also how coaches communicate indirectly and set the tone with their team. So I thought Kubiak did an excellent job of that, and you really like to see that. Coaches will do it a lot, but to see this Raider team with a new coaching staff, with a new roster turnover, all that stuff is very important, I believe, for him to do that. And he did it. He did a really good job of it. And we'll see Klint Kubiak. You know, his demeanor it seems to be just business, which is fine. No, he's not a Bill Belichick. And as I said earlier, he's not a John Gruden. But he is a guy who looks to me to be serious about getting this team turned around, and who wouldn't be as a brand new head coach in the NFL. Now, the key takeaway from all of this, Raider Nation, isn't luck. This isn't luck. It's a program built around smart management. Now, we've talked about the dumpster fire in the front office, the coaching changes, all of that stuff. But to me, what I'm seeing through words, not just words, but words and action, is that this is a different day. This is a new era. And it's not just because there was turnover. It's because of the way that they're approaching this thing. And if you're a Raiders fan, you have to be very happy about that. So good stuff. What else? What else did Klint Kubiak talk about? Of course, he was going to be asked about Fernando Mendoza. But what Kubiak said about Fernando Mendoza was that I like Kubiak's head start language on prep habits, which isn't a surprise based on what we've heard about this kid. He also, one of the big news items that came out first with breaking news on Tuesday, he confirmed Cousins is the starter as of now. No reason to doubt that changes. As we have prosecuted many times on this show over the past several weeks, he is the starting quarterback, barring some unforeseen circumstance, which include injury, which include Fernando Mendoza's development just going like a rocket and surprising people. And I said there's a very small chance that happens, but it could happen. So we know where Fernando Mendoza sits right now, and that is he's competing with Aiden O'Connell really to be the number 2, and we'll see how that goes as well. O'Connell coming in as a veteran, game tested and all of that, so we'll see. Other key notes from Kubiak on various position competitions, because that's what everybody's writing about. That's what you guys are talking about. And one of those positions that I'm watching closely, as we've talked about before, is at guard. He said pads don't go on until practice 6. So when he was asked, it's so hard to say, but versatility over raw talent is the standard. He said it. He set the standard by saying raw talent is the standard. So there you go. So we'll see how that works out at the guard position. He wasn't asked about safety, cornerback other than McCoy, or a lot about the wide receiver room, but he'll get to it, I'm sure, over time. So look, I mean, everybody's going to be talking about quarterback competition and guard battles and rookie kickers this week, and that's fine. But the story that actually moves the needle on this team's season came before a single snap was taken out there in Henderson. Crosby's health and McCoy's back. Everything else is camp noise until the pads come on in 6 practices, right? We'll be tracking both of those health stories every day and make it a part of the discussion here, of course, on Silver and Black today. So there you are. We like that, and everybody is good, and we want you to be part of the discussion here on Silver and Black today, right? Of course. And that's why on this show later in the week, we always get to your calls and comments. By the way, if you want to be part of the show, and I invite you to be part of the show, you can call in and leave a voicemail message. We got a couple of those today, and I want you to be part of it. 702-900-7869 is the number. 702-900-7869. Leave your message. Get it out there. What I would say is if you want to prep for it, that's the best thing to do. Everything in life is better when you prep for it. So get what you want to say, take some notes. That way you get through it faster. You don't forget anything. and we get as many people on as we can. So do that, 702-900-7869. I still would like some videos. Not getting videos yet, but I know it's a new thing, but we want you to get to those videos. And you can do that by mailing us at mail@silverandblacktoday.com. Once again, that's mail@silverandblacktoday.com. You can send your videos there. And if you want to send just an email, I can read those and post those as well for the audience to hear, as I will repeat them and answer them. So do that. We appreciate it. Some questions we had about doing live shows post-game, as I've done with Murph over the last couple of years from Raiders Fan Radio. We will do some of those. Based on schedule, we'll see how it all works out. But we will do some of those. I'll be doing other live broadcasts with guests, without guests, by myself. You name it, we're going to have it out there as well. So we appreciate it. So let's get to some of your comments. Again, one more time, call in 702-900-7869. If you want to mail us a video, mail@silverandblacktoday.com. All right, here we go. Our first caller, our good friend, longtime listener, viewer, all the way from Hawaii. Yes, from Hawaii is our good buddy MDM. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, aloha, Scott. This is MTM calling from Hawaii. Once again, just stoked you're back. Glad you're doing well. Glad you got the show coming back on. I know a lot of us are really glad to see you back. Real quick, running into the Raiders season. Going into this off season, I think the Raiders kind of had an idea to rebuild slowly, and obviously to bring the coach and the quarterback in. I think Mendoza is going to end up being a great pick. Very excited about that, as well as our draft. But I think we had the idea to rebuild and evaluate young players, and I think that's why we traded Crosby. And when that got 86, and we had a good draft and a fairly good free agency, I think that changed the calculus a bit. And I think now we went from, hey, we're just going to go and evaluate young players, slowly develop and grow, to, hey, maybe we got a shot this year to win some games. And I'm still cautiously optimistic. I don't think we're going to finish above 500, and it's the first year in a long time, but I'm okay with that because I think we did the right thing bringing in the coach and the quarterback. I'm not getting Josh McDaniel vibes from Kubiak. I think he's a little more humble. I like that he grew up in the AFC West with his dad being a coach in the division. And I think this year my advice would be to really build the offense around the running game. We're not going to throw Mendoza out there until the offensive line proves it can gel and pass block, but I think it's easier to teach run blocking as a unit. And with Linderbaum and the drafting of Mike Washington, and I also very much like Hemby that played with Mendoza. So I think we got Gentry, Washington, and Hemby. And I think we really pound the rock and try to build the offense around the running game, and then also to create some pressure on defense. And I wouldn't play Mendoza for at least the first half of the year. I'd bring him along slowly and look long-term. Anyways, thanks. Blessings to you, Scott, and great that you're back again. Thank you.
All right, there's MTM in Hawaii. Excuse me, let me say it correctly. Appreciate the call. And yeah, I brought up a couple things there with the Raiders and expectations with record, right? I said 7 wins would be a very good year. 8 would be a ceiling, in my view, not because this team isn't much better than it was last year, because I agree with MTM on that. I do think, though, the schedule, especially the first part, it's brutal. Now, anything can happen. So I'm not saying give up hope, but I think his point about being realistic and being okay with it, I think that's the key here. And I said it in the opening segment here, which is the fact that, you want to build this the right way. The Raiders have tried to do patchwork, spackle the walls with the holes in the wall and all that stuff, or try to get a guy in to change the trajectory of the franchise. You can't do that. You have to build this thing with a solid foundation. I said last show, you can't build a house on sand, right? You need to have that concrete, that foundation. And to me, the moves they made, investing, as I said last episode, investing in the offensive line, investing in the quarterback room, both through the draft and bringing the veteran Kirk Cousins in, that's what you did. Then you brought the right coaching staff in. You've invested on defense. You invested, again, offensive line, Tyler Linderbaum, most expensive center in all of football. What's going to be important on that line? The inside, the core of it. And you have that. You got Colton Miller, Jackson Powers-Johnson, who I think staying healthy, he can be what everyone thought he could be. So that's true. MTM's right on it. The running game, we talked about that too on Tuesday with Ashton Gentry. And yes, a lot of that is dependent on the offensive line. But I think the offensive line is going to be better. It was terrible last year, and he still almost got 1,000 yards. So now, even if the offensive line was 60% better, this guy can get 1,200 yards. I believe that. He might even be able to get more, depending. With the wide receiver room questions, Brock Bowers coming back from injury should be a beast. Michael Mayer, I think, hopefully, my hope for him is that he comes back. Yes, I'm wearing my Notre Dame hat today, so of course I got that. He's also a Cincinnati kid, Covington Catholic down in Covington, Northern Kentucky, right across the river from Cincinnati. So I think, yes, I think the running game here has the possibility to do that. Now, that's why I was focused on the wide receivers a couple weeks ago, because if you have the running game moving, offensive line is doing their job, but you can't get the ball out and receivers aren't making separation, this offense doesn't work as well as it can, and people can stack the box. So we'll see on that. But yes, so MTM, I agree with you there. I appreciate the kind words, too, about the show returning, so thank you for that. But yes, I think you should be excited, but you should be more excited about how they're building this. I talked about it with the Kubiak press conference. Good management. I don't care what kind of business you're in, your favorite restaurant. Yes, they have to have good food, but if it's not managed well, you're not going to have good service. You're not going to. So the same goes with the football team. I know, football team, restaurant. Man, what are you doing, Scott? But hear me on this, and that is, you have to have good management and you have to build things the right way. And I think they are doing that. The proof is in the pudding. I'm back to that. You got to win games on the field. You got to show improvement on the field. Again, improvement doesn't always equate to wins. But if the Raiders get through that tough part of the first schedule and they're in every game, they're not getting blown out, they're able to execute their offense, the defense shows life, then yes, you should be happy and things are going according to plan. All right, we're going to get to the next caller now. Here we go.
Hello, Alfred from Texas. Who is going to be the starting quarterback? Thank you.
All right, there's Al, the best I could tell, Al in Texas, asking you the starting quarterback. Well, Al, the call was a couple days old, so I get it, but Klint Kubiak said it. He said it at the press conference on Tuesday. It's Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is the starting quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders unless something else happens. And again, things are fluid. You never know. Look at Atlanta, Michael Penix Jr. is still out with that knee injury, coming back from it. His time frame was unknown, so they went out and got Tua to be the quarterback, and now Tua's got a little bit of a back injury, and they had to go sign Cooper Rush on Wednesday. So things happen in the NFL. Injuries, subpar play. So Kirk Cousins, I believe there's a lot of you out there still not convinced that Kirk Cousins is going to do well with the Raiders. And that's okay. The skepticism, that's fine. But if we look at the track record, as I did a couple episodes ago, if you look at the track record of Kirk Cousins playing in this Klint Kubiak offense, he's always done well. And number one, he knows the offense. This is something that Fernando Mendoza doesn't. And to a lesser degree, because he's been in the league a couple of years, Aiden O'Connell doesn't either. So Kirk Cousins has a leg up on everybody. Can he stay healthy? Are his skills still at a level where he can be a competitive and winning starting quarterback? That's the question. And so we'll see, but there's no question that he is the starting quarterback until he's not. So it's his job to lose at this point. So I think that's it. And you can put that to rest. And again, I'm sure that took the sails out of a lot of the national media who want to play up because Fernando Mendoza is a sexy name. He's a media darling. The stories from camp, how's the competition in Vegas going? Cousins, Mendoza. Well, there's not really a competition. Now, again, as I said earlier, if a couple weeks go by and Fernando Mendoza's getting more first-team reps than he's supposed to, based on the plan that we heard from Klint Kubiak, then it's a story. But until that time, Kirk Cousins is the starting quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, make sure you call in 702-900-7869. 702-900-7869 is the number to be a part of the Raider Nation Court of Public Opinion here on Silver and Black Today, a Believe podcast. Okay, we're going to get to some comments now. Here is the first one from our buddy Justin Raider over on YouTube. Justin, hope you're doing well and having a great week, my friend. He says, we want Vita Vea in Las Vegas. He wants the Raiders. Of course, Vita Vea has requested a trade from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right? Now, again, and my man Justin, I've seen you comment before. You're a good dude. I got no problem with it, making the comment. And certainly Vita Vea is a great player. I liked him coming out of the draft and so on. But here's the deal. No. Vita Vea is a great player, but in life and in football, timing is everything. This Raiders team, as I said throughout the show, they're building a foundation. And yes, Vita Vea would help. Are you kidding me? Great player. But the cost to trade for him with the Buccaneers, you're talking about a high second-round draft pick, and then the money you got to outlay for him, you can't do it. The Raiders have other needs. We talked about wide receiver. We still talked about other pieces on defense. Okay? They need to keep that draft capital and progress and execute the plan that they have. So while Vita Vea is a sexy name and a great player, it's just not the right time. If the Raiders were in contention, which they're not, if they were in contention for an AFC West crown or to be at the top of the AFC, i.e. competing for a Super Bowl berth, yes, that's the kind of move you make when you're at the precipice of becoming a championship squad. You go get him and Maxx Crosby. Wow. The additions at linebacker you have, Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, Kwity Paye out there. So I get that, but they're not there. They're just not there. So respectfully, no. But I get it. Your comment might have been half joking or you were serious. I don't know each one. It's a good question, though. It's been a topic of conversation the last few days amongst people in Raider Nation and even some in the media. But I think anybody you listen to or watch that makes content, if they say they should go get Vita Vea, they're reacting versus staying the course. You have to stay the course here with the Raiders and the plan they're executing. Thanks, man. Appreciate your comment. All right, on to the next one here on the Raider Nation Court of Public Opinion. Robert LaCroix Z6F. Sounds like a play. Football play, doesn't it? Says, thanks for being the voice of reason, Scott. Wow. Okay, I've been called lots of nasty things sometimes, but that was a nice compliment. Voice of reason. And I think I just gave that example with the Vita Vea comment, right? Which is no, you don't act emotionally or act on a big name just because they're out there. Stay the course, Raider Nation. John Spytek will, Tom Brady will, Klint Kubiak will. You need to as well. Thank you very much for the comment, as always. And you can leave comments. I will pull them from YouTube, from Facebook, from X. Doesn't matter where. I will get you on the air here too, because this is the part of the show that's all about you. All right. Next comment is from Chris LML12 up on YouTube. He says, Gentry Washington Jr. gonna be thunder and lightning for this run game. Of course, this references what we talked about last week, and in a couple YouTube shorts we did, and on Instagram and TikTok, follow us there as well, about how Washington Jr. could be one of those sneaky great picks for this team as well, because we've heard Klint Kubiak say, we want Ashton Gentry to be fresh. We want him to be healthy. We want him to be able to do what he does best. So you want somebody to spell him. Heard a lot about Hemby. MTM mentioned him earlier as well on his call, and that's true too. So, but I like Washington Jr. I think he's a beast. We'll see how his game translates to the NFL. Again, they're running around in helmets and shorts today, but in a few more practices, we'll get to see him against the Raiders' #1 defense and see how he's able to do. But yes, I think they have the possibility of being a very good 1-2 punch, and then you add in some of the other bodies there, and the Raiders could be 3 deep at running back. You never know. Hemby was great in Indiana as a member of Fernando Mendoza's national championship team, but I think he's going to be a little bit more of a long shot. But that's not to say he can't make it. And Klint Kubiak, by the way, in his press conference mentioned with some of these rookies, because they have so many rookies in camp, that these guys not only need to do well at their positions, but they got to show that they can play special teams. If you're a rookie on the border of making it or not making it, that's where you separate yourself. That's how you hang around long enough to maybe progress to the point where you get some reps at your position. And so I think that's what we'll see there as well with Hemby. But no question, Washington Jr. and Ashton Gentry, I'm excited to see what that looks like, right? All right, on to the next comment now. We go to Ronan Raider, who says, if the season goes off the rail. So here, sorry again. I got to put my glasses on. Yes, I'm getting old, as you can tell from the gray hair. If the season goes off the rails, I think it's because we don't have a wide receiver that scares anyone. Where have I heard that before, Raider Nation? Teams can load the box to stop the run, and then we're in big trouble. I hope someone can step up to be a consistent target. Love the offseason and think the team is vastly improved. Just think the roster couldn't be fixed in one offseason. Absolutely 100% true. You weren't going to fix everything in one offseason. Didn't I say this on Tuesday? I think I did. And so, yes, I'm still concerned with the wide receiver. Again, for those of you who keep saying, well, this person's going to come through, this person's going to come through, you could be right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying there's a lot to prove there. That room is not proven. Yes, I like Tucker and all of that. But when you look at Dante Thornton, the drops, all that stuff, I had some discussions online with people. You're wrong about Thornton. I'm not wrong about him. I'm going off the numbers. I'm not wrong about how many drops he had, 17%. The league average is 4%. That's not me saying he's not a good player. That's the numbers. You have to prove it. And this team hasn't proven it from a wide receiver position that they can be those guys. That's not just my opinion. That's going off the numbers. That doesn't take away raw ability. That doesn't mean that one of these guys can't break out. For the sake of the Raiders, I hope they do, right? That's the desire. Jack Besh came on towards the end of the season when he actually got some playing time. So Besh could prove to be the guy. Tucker could prove to be the guy. They still don't have a true number one. They don't have to necessarily. All these guys have to do is be able to execute in that controlled offense, meaning they have to have separation so that the quarterback can get them the ball, so that you continue to free up Brock Bowers, so that you continue to free up Ashton Gentry or whoever's back there at running back. So that's where it is. It is what, and again, going back to a comment just a second ago, you don't have to fix everything in the offseason. And trading for a number one wide receiver off the table for the same reason I said you don't trade for Vita Vea. Follow the plan, execute the plan, and build the right way. Build that foundation, build strong walls, build strong plumbing, build strong window. Everything you got to do, that's what the Raiders should do. So, all right. Thank you for your comment there. We certainly appreciate it. A good one. And now we go to our next comment, which is from YouTube as well. It's Raider273. Love the show, Scott. It's really necessary to have a Chiefs red background. We have a lot of ifs to find out about, but not starting from scratch every year should help. Okay, yes, that goes back to the foundation thing, right? Which is you don't have to recreate everything every year. If you're doing it the right way, you're adding and you're building, right? It's building steps. You want to get to that trophy at the top, that Lombardi trophy. The Raiders already have 3 of them. You want number 4. Okay? So you got to build that. And about the background, if you're watching on video, that's what he's referencing. It's red. It's called a contrasting color. It's not a Chiefs color. I'm a UNLV alum. I'm a Rebel, red. I'm also, from an F1 perspective, a Ferrari fan, red. So not all red is bad. Now, if I had some kind of arrowhead or something, I would get it. But you also know, if you've watched me long enough over the last 9 years I've done the show, I change things up all the time. So this color is red now. It'll change over time, but it's not a Chiefs color, Raider. It's not a Chiefs color. It is a Chiefs color, but it's not there because of the Chiefs. So funny comment. I know it was a jest, but there you go. I'm part of the Tifosi. Ferrari, baby. Close but no cigar all the time in F1. That's my reality. And then, of course, UNLV, who's better in football, by the way. By the way, if you're in Vegas and you're a Raiders fan, go to the UNLV football games, please. They're going to be good this year again. Maybe one of the better teams in the group of 6 there with a chance of a playoff. Maybe. So that's my red, Rebel red. Not Chiefs red, Rebel or Ferrari red. That's what the color is. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, as always. Okay, now we'll get on to the next comment, which is from YouTube again. Getting a lot of comments on YouTube. I love it. Luis Corral 3342 said, Scott, this is going to be an old school Raider passing game squad. I'm telling you, right? Oh, Scott, trust me on this, why that is important. I've studied what Kubiak has said every single word about this team and wanting to know the history behind the Raiders. Wanting to bring that excellence back to the Raiders. What we're known for, Scott. Tough as nails defense and long ball deep touchdown. You remember, Scott, I'm 49. Scott, I was just born the year they won the 76-77 Super Bowl, so I think that is what we will be getting, Scott boy. I love, Luis, I love your style there, man. I love the putting my name in to emphasize you're making points there, but it's good. Now, back to your point about old school Raider football. Yeah, I mean, I get that, and that's the desire of all fans to, especially somebody of your ilk. I'm older than you are, but I get it. You want to go back to the glory days. Things have changed a lot in the NFL, so the Raiders can't be the old Raiders on the defense, especially. You can't get away with that stuff anymore. But that was all built on talent and foundation. You hear my theme in this show? Talent and foundation. They built those teams. Al Davis did a masterful job. So guess what? That's what they're doing again. When it comes to the passing game, that's going to be a work in progress. Because I think Kirk Cousins has the ability to do that. But again, my question is, who's going to catch those balls? Hopefully one of the guys in the wide receiver room, more likely you need 2 of them to really step up and progress to the point where they can open that vertical game. A lot depends on the offensive line. A lot depends on that scheme and if they're able to do it. If you're able to really run the ball down the throats of these defenses the Raiders will play, especially some of the good ones they'll start the season off with, then they'll have to account for that, and they'll have to account for Brock Bowers, and then you're cooking with grease, right? You get to get some guys open down the field. So. I think you'll see bits of it, but until they address the wide receiver position long term, I think that's still a year or so away for it to really open up. But I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. So I get it, man. And I would like nothing more to see that, having covered Raiders football for so long now, and what we've been subjected to, I would like nothing more than to see that. All right, let's go off to our final comment. And again, pull this from YouTube. Getting so many good YouTube comments, which is fantastic. This is a Black Friday 513. I wonder, Black Friday, if you're listening to this episode to see your comment, let me know if you're in Cincinnati. I see the 513. I don't know if it's related to the area code or not. All right. Here's what Black Friday 513 says. I like to counter what you're saying about Kubiak and his job hopping. This was last episode where I talked about Kubiak and some of the open questions, because everybody's been so high on Kubiak, as am I. Best offensive mind to walk in that building in a long time. But there's still some open questions, and I address those. He said, we tried the 20-year tenure of an offensive-minded coach. We tried the Super Bowl veteran coach who forgot more football than we could ever know, and it just didn't work. So I'm not buying that our new head coach. I'm not buying it with our new head coach, I should say. If you can coach, you can coach. Point taken. I agree with you there. I think, yeah, if you're a good coach, you're a good coach. The only questions I brought up, the open questions about Klint Kubiak, were he doesn't have a 5-year stretch of play calling, which he's going to be doing with the Raiders. He has 3 years. And what did we glean from that? Some of the some of the superlatives we had heard about running game and this and that held true in some areas. Obviously, in Seattle last year, he had a fantastic season, which he parlayed into the Raider job, by the way. But there are some questions, too. There were questions in New Orleans. There were questions in other spots, San Francisco. So it's not a negative. I was just bringing those questions up because nobody's talking about them. That's what I try to do. I can come on here and talk about what everybody else is talking about on YouTube or on the radio or in print. But I just brought it up. But your point is well taken, and I don't necessarily disagree. It's just open questions. Not questioning the hire, because I think it was a home run hire, even though some of the national media doesn't think so. I think it was a home run hire. Most of you think it was a home run hire. People are excited about it. The players seem genuinely excited about it. Although, what are they going to say? Yeah, I'm iffy. No. But overall, it's an amazing move, positive move, and I started this show talking about what I loved about hearing from Klint Kubiak on Tuesday. So I think the possibility that some of these open questions rear their heads and maybe there's some... No, he's a first-time head coach. He's got Mike McCoy there. He talked about this at the press conference too, by the way. He was asked the question, hey, you're a first-time head coach. Who are you leaning on? And he said, I got a great staff to do that with. And he does. When you look at the staff constructed as it is today for the Raiders, he's got lots of experience, including head coaching experience there. This is not Marvin Lewis, who's just getting a paycheck, or Tom Coughlin, who just got, and trust me, those guys just got paychecks. Marvin Lewis, great guy, by the way, does a lot for charity. Love the guy. But those guys were getting paychecks. That's not the case with this team. So I think Klint Kubiak has guys there to help him along with the inexperience of being a head coach. Because not only does he have to do and answer the questions that I raised about the offense and his ability to call offense, but you're the guy now. You're the CEO. Every decision, everything comes through you. That's a different ballgame. It's a whole different approach. You're not just focused on one side of the ball. You're focused on every single thing, every single person, every single decision that happens in that building around football is on you. But like I said, Mike McCoy is there. He's got lots of folks on his staff to lean on. So that's a good thing. So I'm with you. I have very little doubt that Klint Kubiak will be successful, but I also have very little doubt that he'll make mistakes, and we'll see them. Will they be horrendous mistakes? Probably not. And that's okay. I don't care who you are. If you learn to do something new, or if you're in a new position, no matter how much experience and how much football you know, you're going to slip up to here and there. And that's okay. So expect that as well, and that's fine. But I don't think it's going to be something that you're going to see a ton of. I don't think you're going to see the ineptitude we saw with Antonio Pierce or the ineptitude we saw with Pete Carroll last year and his son coaching the offensive line. So I think it's going to be a whole different ballgame. So I'm with you on that, and I feel very, very positive about it all. It's going to be good. Now, we've come towards the end of the show here, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to think about the next one next week. We'll keep an eye on practice. We'll keep an eye on what's happening health-wise with everyone in Silver and Black and what's going on with this team, and we can do that here as well. So make sure you subscribe. If you're listening to us on the audio side, please do so wherever you get your audio. Just look for Silver and Black Today. It's pretty dang easy. Also on video, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, doesn't matter. Make sure you follow us and subscribe. Excuse me, I had to hit the cough button. But nonetheless, hit the subscribe button, hit that notifications bell on YouTube especially as well. YouTube really gets active amongst our listeners and viewers as the season rolls on. We get great stuff in there. I will do the live drop-in shows, by the way, in some of the post-game too, where you get to just jump in on video. I'll post a link, and you come right on the show with me live on video. So don't forget that. If you want to send your video, take in mail@silverandblacktoday.com, mail@silverandblacktoday.com. Your calls, comments, 702-900-7869, or leave them in our social channels, and I will pull them for the next show. Everybody, I'm so glad you joined us. Thank you so much again for your support, the words of encouragement, and of course, the counterpoints to my points, The arguments, and I say that with love, loving arguments, they're all welcome, and I appreciate it. I love hearing from you. You give me sometimes things to think about that I hadn't thought about, so keep them coming. For everybody here at Silver and Black today and over at Believe, thank you, Raider Nation. We will talk to you next time. Bye-bye now.